Cheers to the Golden Globe Awards, where the champagne flows, the stars shine, and the most important question on everyone's mind is, who's going to make the most unhinged comments? Because let's be honest, sometimes the award show antics are even more entertaining than the shows and films that were nominated. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's dissect the chaos that was the 82nd annual Golden Globe Awards. Lynn Powell did look great. He was on my short list.
He was on my honorable mention.
Yeah. And I loved Zendaya. I thought she just looked stunning. I know people have thoughts.
She looked stunning.
I know.
There were a lot of people that I liked pieces of what they wore, but I didn't like everything.
Because Kerry Washington looked beautiful, but the hair was
not there. I thought that what's the girl's name from The Diplomat? Carrie
Russell.
Hold it.
Oh, well,
let's go.
we're recording.
Okay.
All right.
You ready?
Oops. Okay. So you do the intro, and I'm just gonna sit here and look like Jeremy fucking Strong. Okay.
Hello, and welcome to Once More Unhinged, our weekly chat show where we discuss whatever is popping off in pop culture. I am Ryan Something, and today I am joined by two special guests.
I'm the eldest boy.
Are you a Nepo baby today?
Yeah.
A method
L
actor?
to the O to the G to
I'm
the.
loving that bucket hat.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Jen Katz.
Jen Katz, everybody.
We have a special guest in our studio today. Our
We
first
do!
in-person guest in our studio today.
So happy.
We have our friend Mavish,
Yay!
the mysterious Lady M.
Am I mysterious anymore?
Well,
No, because you've
not
been
anymore.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
No longer mysterious.
Forever
Dearest
in our hearts.
gentle watchers and listeners. Yeah.
So today we're going to discuss the 82nd annual Golden Globes Award, and we could not have this discussion
Sorry, hold on.
without Mavish.
I think it's the Golden Globe Awards, and then you call it the Golden Globes. Sorry.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Today we're not going to be discussing the 82nd Golden Globes Award. We're going to be discussing the 82nd Golden Globe Awards,
There it is.
Sorry.
aka the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Which we all got to watch together, which was so much fun.
We did.
It was amazing.
Yeah. We had champagne and red wine.
Yeah.
I haven't sat down. I thought about this and fully watched an award show like that until Sunday.
I haven't either.
Well, let's do it more often.
Since
Well-
I
I had a
started having
blast.
children, I have not had an opportunity
No.
to.
I mean, we had like a really great meal.
We did.
We were just really enjoying it. I always watch the
And we
clips
all made
after.
something.
We did all
Yes.
make something.
Tell the listeners what you made.
I did the New York Times cheese souffle, grilled cheese
Grilled
poof.
cheese souffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out New York Times Cooking. I use them all the time. And it was
Fantastic.
really good.
So it's basically just like layered grilled cheeses with like an egg mixture, and then you bake it.
Correct.
It was a
It was
delight.
it was
It was
a
so
delight.
good. Yeah.
I made a pot roast, which I haven't made in quite some time.
It was also really, really good.
Amazing.
Cooked it for like 5 hours. It
Ah.
was so good. And Mavish, you made dessert. What did you make? You
I
made a
did.
sweet cake.
I did. I made a cake, also from New York Times Cooking. I signed up for the subscription
Yeah.
because I
I do.
thought, why not
Good.
try it out for
Yeah.
this year? For 2025, I'm gonna try more recipes
Yeah.
that I haven't made before. So that one was a winter citrus cake,
Oof,
Okay.
it was so good.
blood orange,
Mhm.
and it was a mix of almond flour and regular flour, so it had a different texture. It was
Yeah.
a lot lighter.
It was so tasty.
It really
delicious.
was.
I'm gonna make it again tonight.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I
Yes.
had it last night for dessert,
Oh.
along with the leftover souffle
Yeah.
and what was left of the pot roast. It was great. So yeah, we should do it again. And I like that we were all able to try a new recipe and share something with
Yeah.
ourselves and our friends and our listeners and viewers.
Sidebar.
Yeah.
We can link the recipes in the show notes, but sidebar, we should next award show, let's do that again.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we don't have to, I can do dessert, we can flip it up, but I really enjoyed that. That was so
Done.
much fun.
Yeah.
So a little bit before we get into the actual awards, Mav, you used to this was kind of your football season, right? Award shows used to be your thing.
100%. I, as I've told you guys before, I'm always I've always been interested in pop culture, and so this stretch of time between January and March is when I just watch every single award show, even if I didn't have the opportunity to watch everything that was nominated. I was still watching those award show, and somehow I could pick winners. And that's what, like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, my husband's like, why don't you tell me beforehand so I can place bets on this stuff?
Oh yeah, good
Because
idea.
I was really good at picking winners.
Yeah.
Not so much
I was gonna
the other
say
night.
it
Oof.
feels like the way that they pick the winners has changed dramatically from
Something.
how it used to operate. I don't know if it's more political. I don't know if it's less about the artistic or creative ability of what of the nominees. I don't know.
I
but
don't know.
It's all over the place. Sometimes you think that the clear winner is going to win, and they don't. For instance, Wicked didn't
Well,
have the year that I think maybe the showrunners expected. They got a good nod, but it
Yeah.
was nominated for
it's nominated for a few things.
a few things.
I was disappointed.
Why do we
I
think
was
that
disappointed.
is?
Well, I mean, on that note,
Let's get into
let's
it.
get into it. I cannot hear
Oh,
this the whole time.
that's too bad.
I know.
Let's dig in the vibe.
That's really great.
Okay, do we have any like just stats on the Golden Globes? I didn't think about that, like where it was filmed.
Beverly Hilton.
Okay.
Yes,
Hosted by
it's always at the Beverly Hilton.
Is it?
I
think
think
so.
it is always
or it
at
has
the
been
Beverly
for
Hilton.
the last 20 something
Because
years.
they eat too, right?
Oh,
so I
yeah.
think it's always at the Beverly Hilton
'Cause they can-
have
the kitchen.
meal and
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Well,
let's
okay.
start with Wicked because that was a big film for us. I know that both of you guys have seen it a few times, and it's this major reproduction of this Broadway hit into a film production. They spent a whole lot of money on promotion. They hired a phenomenal cast. The show was excellent. I literally have no notes for this film.
Yeah.
I saw it for the first time, never seen the musical, and loved it. I was surprised. Well, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I was not surprised that it didn't win a lot of awards, but I was shocked that it didn't get some more nominations or even award wins than it did. And do you think it's because only part 1 is out?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you've kind of said from the beginning, and I'm fully subscribing to that theory.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation in my opinion.
Which I think is a little disappointing because I think the show itself is front loaded. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the front half of that. So whatever they do in part 2,
Right.
better just blow it out of the park because if they're banking on part 2 being their kind of awards,
Yeah.
winner, they've got to beef it up somehow. And I'm sure they have in some ways, but I kind of had a unfortunate inkling that this was going to happen. Now, I do think that as we get further, because I don't know about the Golden Globes, but I know that with the Oscars in particular, they give awards for cinematography,
Right.
for
Yeah.
costume design, for all those like intricacies that you don't necessarily see. They do have some technical awards, right?
And they don't necessarily hold off to like they're not going to judge it as a whole. They're not going to judge Wicked as Wicked part 1 and part 2. It would be Wicked part 1 and then Wicked for Good. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. I mean, I
That's
guess
hard, but I guess that's the risk that they take when they split it up that way
I think they'll be in the running for set design
Mm.
and costuming
for Oscars.
Yeah, for Oscars for
Yeah.
sure. And
I-
they probably will pick up some of those things.
and Cynthia Erivo might. I would hope she would get something for this performance alone because it's so incredible. And
Was it nominated for musical score at all?
it was nominated for. Let's see.
That's a great question.
Production.
Because they gave some awards out.
No, they gave out awards for score, but I'm thinking that this was not an original score
Yeah.
like Trent Reznor's Challengers soundtrack. That was all original music, and some of the other nominees. What was the
It was
what's
Trent
that
Reznor. It was
unhinged film that?
the Robbie Williams movie.
Yes.
The Last Showgirl.
Are we going to talk about?
They were not nominated. Why Wicked's
They
Defying
won.
Gravity and more songs weren't nominated at the 2025 Globes.
Oh, we did have that conversation.
They were not eligible, and I think it's probably because it's
It's
original,
not original.
score. It's an
Yeah.
adaptation of a Broadway musical.
Yep. There wasn't enough. Well, it wasn't a new song. So.
Yeah. The musical was notably absent from 2 categories. This is according to comicbook.com. It was absent from Best Original Song, and it was absent from Best Original Score.
It didn't have an original song or an original
Right,
score.
so it wasn't nominated. Yeah. Now, part 2 might be nominated for Best Original Song because there is an original song coming out in part 2, correct?
Yeah, well, I think we'll see. From what I understand, Cynthia Erivo and Stephen Schwartz did write a song, but I don't know if it was a reworking of a song they already had. So I don't know what the ins and outs are for, those kind
Got
of.
it.
Okay. Yeah, because Cynthia Erivo was nominated for Best Performance by a Female Actor. They were nominated for Best Picture. I mean, they got a bunch of nominations.
They just didn't win any
They
of
just
them.
didn't
Was
win. They won.
Ariana Grande was nominated,
Yeah,
right?
she was nominated for Supporting Actor.
That's so interesting to me because it feels to me that like the first half is more Ariana Grande heavy.
I feel like they'd be co-leads.
Well, so this, gets into some of my thought on The Wicked, which was it's a musical. And typically it seems like musicals and comedies don't get the same sort of accolade or respect that you're going to get from the dramas and kind of the heavier hitting performances. So you have these individuals who are performing in a musical who are nominated against some other great, really qualified actors in their performances. Obviously, it didn't win for Best Score or Best Song because it didn't have anything original. But do we think that perhaps it received less acclaim as far as the wins in some of these other categories because of the musical performance versus non-musical performers?
I honestly can't figure it out because
I'm wondering.
I mean, the person who won Best the Golden Globe for Female Actor in a Supporting Role was in a musical.
Yeah,
Zoe Saldana was in Amelia Perez, and that's a musical.
But it was, I guess, a more dramatic film, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
I haven't seen it, so I can't really speak to it.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it either. All I can say is that I know what the story is, and the story itself is not as bright and shiny as Wicked.
Yeah.
But the ideas behind Wicked aren't necessarily bright and shiny.
I guess that's what
The aesthetic is bright and shiny.
Right.
But even that first song with Ariana,
different type of musical.
She really shows pain in her voice and in her face, things that you can't see in the musical necessarily when you're watching it live.
No.
It really changed my perspective of the show, and I already loved the show, but really seeing Ariana emote so much.
Yeah.
It was
phenomenal.
People were not happy that she was cast in that role.
I was one of them, as we talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, and I think that she really showed people that she not only could do it, she could do it at an extremely high level.
Yeah.
And that she's extraordinarily talented. And that she didn't get more of a nod honestly, I thought she should have won it.
I do too.
If you were going to give it to somebody in a musical, it should have been Ariana.
Were she and Cynthia Erivo nominated in the same category?
No, Ariana's in supporting role. Cynthia was in lead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I guess, Elphaba's technically the lead, but I'm with you. It's a story about them both and their friendship.
And even on the Broadway stage, she would be considered a lead.
They're both on the bill, like the poster.
Right,
I think any conversation we have around awards in the past few years, we talked about it on an episode of Buffy when we had just watched the Oscars. Some of these
and I said I was never going
choices,
to watch an award show again.
It just feels
Then I
like
watched the Oscars and the Emmys and the
it almost feels like the real life election. The popular vote sometimes doesn't matter because it's these people who make these votes, and I don't know how it all works. But it's like the guy who was what do they call them? The accountants, the Golden Globe.
Accountants, yes.
The one guy with the briefcase, that queen posing every 5 seconds. Like, if that's the guy. The Brutalist hasn't even been widely released. I take umbrage with films that win these awards that not everyone has seen. because we can't.
But that's always been the case.
I know, and I don't like it.
But if
People
they were
wait
that
until
great,
Christmas Day to limited release a lot of stuff so they can be eligible for these.
that's
awards.
it. And I don't like the little games that they play
I don't
in order,
either.
for this one-upmanship, because there's some
Yeah.
really great performances that you catch at the beginning of a year that get completely railroaded by what comes out in the last, few weeks.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah.
that they're not deserving of,
Right.
of accolades in some sort of way, but I wish that there was more of a clear time period that they submit and
for
give-
wide release,
and
not just
for
limited.
wide release, so people across the globe, but primarily I guess Americans who are watching the Golden Globe Awards, to watch these nominated films and series, because I'd like to see it.
I would too.
I'm sitting here up in arms that certain folks didn't win over others, but I haven't seen these other two
Right.
films that are now getting all these accolades. So
not
I'm
that
with
you won't
you.
have the opportunity to
Oh,
see
I'm
it
sure
either,
there'll
right?
be time to stream it, and you got to pay for it.
Well, sure.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. It's like, I want to make it clear. I'm not saying for a movie to win, it has to be popular on Wicked levels or like a Marvel movie. I'm not saying that, but like, have it available on streaming, have it available in
Mhm.
theaters so people can see it.
Yeah.
Because I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like viewership of these award shows continues to go down.
Decline.
And I think part of it is a lot of times stuff wins. The mass
Yeah, that's it.
audiences don't even know.
They can't connect to it.
I've
Yeah.
heard of The Brutalist, but I
Yeah.
mean, I couldn't tell you Adrian Brody was in it. I
Is-
didn't know anything about
do
it.
you-
I only knew Joe Allen was in it. I didn't even know Adrian.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know Adrian Brody had even acted in anything recently.
Last thing I saw him in was Peaky Blinders. I don't
last thing
know.
I saw him in was the Wes Anderson films that he's
Oh.
been doing occasionally.
Oh,
He
But
does some
those
Wes
were a while
Anderson
ago,
stuff.
weren't
I know,
they?
it's been a while. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I haven't seen him.
I
well,
don't know.
what's the award that Wicked did win for? Because I feel like they created
performance.
this
Achievement.
award.
Achievement. Yeah.
I feel like they created this award to get around. It's the workaround for, well, the most popular movie didn't win.
yep,
Well, guess what? Now it did.
yep.
Yeah.
And that's what it won.
Yeah.
And the whole cast was up there, and they were so appreciative.
Yeah.
And
I
mean,
love
that was
this
something.
cast.
I
I'm
really
holding
do.
I think
space
there
for
does
this
need to be a
cast.
category. You have to acknowledge that the number one films in the world are the ones that people want to watch, and the ones that people are watching.
Yeah.
What's happening? Y'all are having a moment over
We're
there
doing the
without me, and
Cynthia
I'm mad
Erivo,
about it.
Ariana Grande. She's holding space for my feelings.
Do the wizard over here.
You got to do this. I mean, like, yeah, we loved Wicked. We all three have seen it multiple times. We enjoyed this movie. And yes, we were yelling at the TV screen.
Yeah.
When neither one of these women won. And look, again, I have not seen The Brutalist. Felicity Jones could be phenomenal.
Hope so.
Adrian
Adrian
Brody
Brody.
won, so I guess he's probably pretty good.
He's
Allegedly.
an excellent actor.
He's great.
I've
He
seen him in
is.
a lot of projects. He's so good. I would not be surprised if he just
Okay, now
hits it out of the park.
let me
Yeah.
get the drama out of the way with him. What's the drama on the side with him in real life?
Oh.
There's some drama, right?
It wasn't drama.
It was just
because
weird.
Something like with his
he-
wife,
Yeah, so he pointed out
Yeah.
his partner during his acceptance
his
Yes.
partner.
speech,
Okay.
and we had seen her, and he mentioned her name,
Yeah.
and I said, "Oh,
Her pop culture antennae started.
yeah." I was like, "Well, she looks kind of familiar,
She
and
did.
her name is Georgiana or Georgina."
Georgina.
And-
Georgina. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever her name is. Oh, I mentioned to Jen during that time that he used to be with Chris Helmsworth,
Elsa Pataki.
Elsa Pataki.
Okay.
But he has been with this woman for like 5 years. And I said, "Oh, what? Let's look her up really quick." And then I looked her up, and it said her last name came up, and I said, "No, it can't be." And then it absolutely was Harvey Weinstein's ex.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
and she is
listen.
not responsible for anything associated with Harvey Weinstein.
Sure. No, I mean, I don't
No.
believe in guilt by association.
No.
However, it was a little shocking.
It
Yeah.
was very surprising.
Yeah.
They've been together for 5 years,
Yeah.
it seems. So
Yeah.
it is like a full blown.
Well, I hope that she's moved on to a healthier relationship than the one that she
I hope
had.
he bought her a castle like he did Elsa Pataki.
If he didn't, I mean,
How do you?
how
Could you imagine, like, your first fight, you're gonna be like,
Wait, did
"Oh, so I'm not
Pataki-
good enough to buy a
Did
castle
she
for?"
keep the castle?
I don't think.
he probably sold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Well, maybe he can
Maybe he
move
kept
her in.
it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not cool. Like,
Oh, you have
get
to
me
buy a
new
different-
castle.
you have to
I
buy
need
a
a new
different
castle.
castle.
I want a chateau.
Yes.
Madam.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
so
You know what was not Wicked?
What?
Nikki Glazer as
Oh,
the host.
She was popular.
I thought she was great.
I
Listen,
enjoyed it.
Not
yeah.
every joke is going to hit,
No.
but there weren't so many awkward fails as I've seen in some cases in the back. Obviously, I love the Levy dad and son combo, Dan and
They were the Emmys,
and,
right? The 2024 Emmys.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene and
They were
and
cute.
Dan
They were
Levy.
great.
They're great. I love the back and forth banter, but I thought that she was funny. Her opening monologue, which we missed, but we went back and
Yeah.
rewatched, was pretty good.
I mean, the Ozempic's biggest night. Like, come on, call it like you see it.
Yeah.
Talking about everyone with Botox and stuff. I mean, it's just.
And every commercial for the award show was Ozempic
It
or
was.
some sort of like
I
body,
wouldn't be surprised if they
improvement
sponsored
stuff.
something.
No, they
I
did.
Really,
Yeah, they were sponsored.
Yeah. I mean, look, we recently had this conversation with a couple of our other friends, and comedy, I'm not like the biggest comedy fan necessarily. Like, I don't follow comedians.
Mhm.
I think sometimes it can be punching down, and look, I understand the argument for people like, hey, sometimes we should just let things be off limits and roast everything. I'm not necessarily in that camp with some things. And I liked Nikki I think she did it. She was poking fun at people. Why are you making that face?
Because this is the premise of an episode of Hacks where they have this discussion about punching
Have you
down
heard of
as
Hacks?
comedians. Anyway, it's a
I
great show. Actually, I think it won a couple of awards.
I don't
Again.
could you use it in a sentence?
Yes, Hacks is an incredible show on HBO Max with Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder.
Which your girl won. She looked beautiful.
That's right.
But yeah, it's just long story long.
It is a great point. Yeah.
The Diddy joke. To me, it's like it's uncomfortable because it's so soon and he is a piece of shit. But I feel like she was doing it in a way that was funny. I mean, Stanley Tucci freak offs with olive oil.
Yeah.
I chuckled, and maybe I should not be proud of that, but I chuckled.
It was great. Even he
did.
chuckled after he got it.
chuckled.
His face killed me. He was like, "What?"
Listen, I thought it was like the barest of bare jokes that you could do and not be too.
He's the one guy that everyone in the room is going to like be on board. Go ahead, make that joke about Diddy.
Because he's not, and like you're saying, I think it was done in a way that was not offensive to the victims. And maybe if you are a victim, maybe I'm speaking out of turn. I could be. Please correct me, but
right.
I feel like
didn't see
she
that
wasn't
intent at all. Yeah.
There have been some times where it's so cringy and so just like pa pa punch punch punch. We're gonna do.
To me, the Harvey Weinstein thing was cringier because
I forgot about that.
Literally telling jokes to people who were in the room who have been victimized by him repeatedly.
I kind of forgot about that.
That year was awkward, and I think who was that? That was Ricky Gervais.
Was it Gervais?
Maybe?
That was Gervais.
So.
Gervais always goes to the line and then crosses right over it.
Sure, yeah, and that's what I like about Nikki. She's fun and she's wild and she can be a little irreverent, but she's not crude. She will go to the line in her stand up and she'll stand on the crude button, but she comes off of it.
I love her.
And it's not like all of her jokes.
Yeah.
She's funny, she's witty. I love her timing. She looked gorgeous in every outfit. And how many outfits did she change into?
Good. And if I was doing it, I would be like, I want 50 outfits. I want to wear all the designer.
I want the maximum.
What was it, like 10?
10, yeah, she looked great.
And she looked gorgeous in every single one of them.
Yeah, she does.
She looked beautiful.
She can go, like you said, I've seen some of her roasts.
Yeah.
Go and watch the roast of Tom Brady.
Woo!
She says some stuff that I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
So she definitely can do it. So she'll held back.
I think she held back. And they signed her for 3 more years? Is that what you said?
Yeah, just this morning.
I'll watch.
Done.
Yeah.
But she was great. And then I have to say, I feel like we did it, Joe. Shogun won so many awards.
Yeah, that was
and
fun.
We were so happy.
We've been rooting for Shogun since we watched it. And we had an episode on Shogun.
We did.
I thought it was really great that Hiroyuki Sanada won for his performance and that the show won for I guess what overall
TV series drama,
which no doubt it was one of the finest dramas on TV. Other good nominees as well. I mean, I think there was 1 or 2 others and I was like, man, it's hard to root against any of them, but Shogun by far was really the best. It wasn't until later that we got our win for your gal.
Anna Sawai.
Yeah.
Who looks stunning.
Ming.
She's on my
killed
yeah,
it in
best
that white dress.
The back,
It's
she
just
always looks
phenomenal.
flawless.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
She looked
Yeah.
beautiful from the front, and then she turned around, and I just melted
Oh
away.
yeah. Business in the front, party in the
I might
back.
have to replace
But
Zendaya with
she
her.
has so much poise and class,
Mm-hmm.
and you get that in her performance on Shogun, and it comes across in all of these award shows that she's been in.
Yeah.
I hope they did another photo shoot, her and Hiroyuki Sanada, because he was wearing
He looked
one of
great.
my favorite, probably the best tuxedo of the night, traditional tux. It was a Ralph Lauren purple label
Oof.
tux, and
He looked good.
nailed it.
Yeah.
He's
And
handsome.
He's so handsome. And then Tadanobu Asano also won for supporting actor in a TV
Oh,
drama.
yes, he did, and he was so excited.
He was so excited.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
The translator would come up and he was, like, nah, I got this. And he was just so beside himself. And, English is probably his third or fourth language because other people in the world speak more than one language, unlike us.
Right, correct.
And he was so excited and thrilled.
Oui.
Uno más cerveza.
Por favor, señorita.
Señorita. Yeah. So those were the things I was really excited about. Shogun. I have not seen anything other than the first half of the first episode of Hacks, but Jean Smart does great in that episode. So
it was wonderful in that.
I love that they came
watched.
out of the box and just immediately gave the award to Jean Smart because she earned it.
Yeah.
I won't harp on the show too much because I've already talked about it multiple times with these people and you've heard me. So please watch Hacks. It is an incredible show. It is funny as fuck.
It's very
but
funny.
It is also very moving and dramatic in the points where it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's a perfect balance of a drama series on HBO and Jean Smart at the helm with Hannah Einbinder and the rest of the cast. It's just phenomenal. Great writing.
They won another award though, right?
Yeah.
Other than what Jean Smart picked up, they picked up another one because I remember thinking, man, Hannah Einbinder
She looked beautiful.
They won for best, I think, writing. It was, or
let's skip production on it because I liked his little ditty where he was like, anyone don't buy Jean Smart a tequila shot.
Oh, that's right, because they had to get up.
I think he's the director or producer, but he also stars in the show.
Okay.
So Hacks wins for best television series and musical or comedy at the 2025 Golden Globes. And it was Paul Downs, who is an actor and writer on the show. I think he's one of the original writers for the show.
He's her agent, right?
He plays her agent in the show, and he just does an excellent
I like
job.
that guy.
He what's your friend who's the actor on Shrinking?
Okay, let's not like
close personal.
Your acquaintance.
Can you call him right now?
Mavish has so many friends.
Somehow get pushed to him, and he's gonna be.
I hope so. I hope he calls and says, I always thought we were friends. Can I come on your podcast with your friends?
Like, I don't remember you.
Yeah.
There's a picture.
He will now.
There's a picture from our from high school, and he's like, he was always tall, so he was in the back, and I'm like way in the front. Michael Yuri.
Okay.
We went to high school together. He's a year younger than me.
The two of them are very similar in their energy on this show.
Yes.
Anyway, he's a fantastic actor in this show. So Hacks, put it on your list. I'm so happy that they won again because it just verifies what I already knew.
And Shrinking is great.
I haven't seen Shrinking either.
What?
I know.
Oh, come on.
When I found out Harrison Ford's character had Parkinson's, I was like, I don't know, because my dad has Parkinson's, and I didn't know if it was going to be just like constant.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay.
They do such a great job, and I think that's why what makes this show so impactful is that they're talking about these real issues and relationships and just, how we deal with and process trauma or events in our lives, but they don't do it in a way that it's like, oh, we're going to milk this.
It's not like
all the
trauma
drama.
porn, for lack of a better.
It's really not. No.
All.
In fact, I would recommend if you have a loved one that is suffering from Parkinson's or, mental health or whatever, PTSD, this is a great show that you can watch and like kind of relate to it without it overwhelming you.
And it talks about grief.
It is so, the grief.
And how different people deal with grief and what that
really
looks
great.
like. It is so beautifully done. Of course, it's written and created by Brett Goldstein, our beloved Brett Goldstein.
Yeah,
love it.
It's so good. It really is. It's a wonderful show.
Okay.
Anyways, Michael Yuri's in that.
Close personal friend of Mavish, Michael Yuri. Michael, if you're listening, say hi to your best friend.
Okay, what are some other wins that we were excited about?
I mean, Wicked getting the cinematic achievement.
I know you were
Yes.
pumped about Jeremy Allen White winning for the
Listen,
Bear
let's
again.
get into the ones that made me raise my eyebrow
Let's do it.
because it's not against Jeremy Allen White per se. I feel like The Bear is in the wrong category. Why is it in comedy musical?
It has been in the wrong category from the
Get
Out.
the
It's
conversation
not
that
a
we've had.
comedy,
It's
and it's
not.
not a musical.
And we said this when we did the Emmys.
yes, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
People have been complaining about it since it debuted.
Yeah.
Why is it in that?
If he wins a fucking Tony for this performance, I'm gonna lose my shit.
He's not even nominated, but in that category,
they're like
saying,
the Bear.
The Bear.
Everyone's scratching their heads.
Do you think that's why he didn't go? Part of the reason why, because he knows all the
Because
chatter.
he knew he was gonna win.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I also still we already talked about it, but
I mean, who was it? This was against Denzel, right?
yes. No.
It wasn't
No.
against Denzel.
Sorry,
Who was
I
in
really
that?
got mad.
Harrison Ford was in that category.
Who was
Ford.
that? Hold
That's
on,
right.
okay.
Harrison could have won this
Won
because
the-
this was comedy.
There were like
Was it Kieran Culkin? Is that who? beat
no,
him?
That's
no.
who
He
it
won for the
was.
movie. He beat Denzel.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Okay.
Okay, so
All right.
best performance by a female actor in a motion picture. We had Pamela Anderson, Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, Tilda Swinton, and Fernanda Torres and Kate Winslet. You remember who won best actress?
Fernanda Torres.
Fernanda Torres.
She was in that movie that's in Spanish.
Best actor
Sure.
performance by a male actor. In a
Okay, let's
motion
talk about that
picture.
one. Yeah.
Adrian Brody, Timothy
Oh.
Chalamet, Daniel Craig,
Mm.
Coleman Domingo. We love him.
Yeah.
Ralph Fiennes. Excuse
Oh,
me.
are we
Ray
talking
Fiennes,
about?
Fiennes.
Wait,
and
yeah, it's
Sebastian
Ray.
Stan? So who won on the male actor? Oh,
Adrian
that was
Brody.
Timothy.
Brody.
Oh, it was Adrian Brody.
Yeah, the other one that really stuck in my craw was best supporting actor. Okay, look, I love Kieran Culkin. Succession, his portrayal of Roman Roy is so fucking weird and twisted. I think he's a good actor. I have not seen the film that has him and Jesse Eisenberg.
I was gonna call him Mark Zuckerberg.
I know, so was I. So it could be a great film, but Denzel Washington literally ate Gladiator 2 for lunch.
Oh my god, he made.
How
that
do you
film.
have Denzel Washington in a category and not just give him the award?
It's Denzel fucking Washington. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm hoping he wins the Oscar, or I will riot. Because
I don't think he will,
I
unfortunately.
think-
and this
We-
happens with Denzel. Listen, I know he's an Oscar winner, but it's been a long time since they've given him another award, and he's been nominated multiple times
Yeah.
for performances that were incredible.
Yeah.
They gave him the award for Training Day, which
He was
he was good, but I
Yeah.
take umbrage considering how many other classic, well-rounded performances that he has given his
Yeah.
heart and soul to that come across, and it's really everything that he does.
Yep.
But I love that he's got the confidence and he's just got the poise that it doesn't matter. He moves on to the next one.
Yeah.
To him, it is all about the craft of acting. He enjoys it. He enjoys directing. So,
Yeah.
if you didn't win the Golden Globe, but you won the award in our heart.
And
100%.
I am glad that Jeremy Strong didn't win for The Apprentice. If any of the Apprentice stuff won, I
The
was
hat
gonna...
won, right?
No, I don't think they won.
the
Sebastian.
hat.
Sebastian
Oh.
His hat.
His hat. Did it win?
Jeremy Strong's hat didn't win an award.
You guys. No, I can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeremy Strong was great as Kendall Roy in Succession. I will say that.
Is he still Kendall Roy?
I want to know. Inquiring minds need to know. Jeremy, blink twice if you know your real name.
A couple other things that we watched that were nominated or individuals. Hugh Grant was nominated for Best Male Actor in a Motion Picture. He was also nominated for Heretic,
Yeah.
Alongside Jesse Plemons, who
Former
our
co-star.
co-star in
Jesse
Love and
Plemons.
Death, and Glenn Powell, Hitman, which we
I
watched
forgot
and covered
Glenn.
on our Glenn Powell episode.
Glenn, if you're watching and listening, because I know you are, you
Mhm.
looked great. Your tuxedo.
Yes,
Stunning.
he
Wait,
wore
Glenn,
a.
I have a note on the cummerbund,
Yeah.
but other than that,
Oh, I love the cummerbund.
And
What's your
and
note
Hitman
on it?
was so cute.
Oh my gosh.
we loved it.
Loved it, man.
Loved it.
His Armani tuxedo was fantastic. He took a play out of Daniel Levy's playbook from the Oscars,
Oh yeah.
where he wore a non-conventional tuxedo. I love the cummerbund, very similar to our other boys from Lord Bridgerton. and,
Johnny Bailey.
John Bailey and his co-star in
Matt Bomer.
and Matt Bowman
Oh my God.
both wore
Give me a
cummerbunds.
minute.
I love the cummerbund coming back where it's more relaxed, and it looks more like a wrap that you have versus
Yeah.
like one that's being clasped in the back.
Yeah.
I loved his outfit.
He
it's
looks
not
great.
my
I thought he looked great.
the purple label Ralph Lauren, the Hiroyuki Sonata was my favorite tux, but my second favorite tux was this one, and then the green one, the Gucci tux that Andrew Garfield wore, the 3-piece.
Oh,
That was fantastic. That was a perft color green.
Garfield.
Can we have a moment of silence?
Let's just do a whole podcast about this gem of a human.
Did anyone check on Amelia de Moldenberg after Andrew Garfield put his glasses on to read the teleprompter? Because she probably
Somebody
self-combusted.
should check on Emma Stone. I'm
Well,
just gonna say.
listen.
I'll check on her. And him. Let me know.
I mean, he looks
Who needs
so
to
good.
be checked on? Let me know.
We're here for
He
you,
looked
respectfully.
That new beard that he's
I'm
been
into it.
rocking,
I'm
and then
into this.
pulls out his glasses.
Okay, if you had to rank his beard over Timothy Chalamet's thing that he's got going.
His eyelashes.
The eyelashes on his upper lip.
Okay. Should we
Okay.
take this time to
Let's do
talk?
it.
Let's talk about the fashion.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about it.
I mean, as you can see, we're all very fashionable people.
Coleman Domingo.
I love Coleman
Valentino.
Domingo.
Oh, he
He
looked good.
always has something cool. It's very Jeff Goldblum in his way, in his style, where he says, "Fuck it, I'm going to wear what I think is fashion forward, what I'm comfortable with, and it's part of who I am." And I love it.
You can tell he is comfortable in what he's wearing. Too.
Yes.
It's not wearing him.
No,
He is wearing it.
He's wearing
wears it, and it's not stupid like a fucking bucket hat.
Hey, it was
Why?
velvet.
Although if he did put a bucket hat on, it would probably have more intention and meaning behind it than
Did
whatever.
somebody
Jeremy
see
Strong did.
who actually styled?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Strong?
Well, I don't know who styled it, but it was. Oh, hold on. I gotta get to that.
Without the bucket hat, would it have been better?
Yes.
Yeah, but the glasses, he just looked. It all didn't work for me. He was a turquoise Loro Piana and matching bucket hat.
Okay.
So it was a designer, but he also had the white turtleneck and the glass. I
It didn't
again
work.
blink twice if you're okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm questioning it. I didn't, going back to Coleman Domingo, his look was not my favorite, but I could appreciate that it looked good on him.
Yep.
That's
and it was taking a risk
That's it.
without, I mean, he's, ever since I saw him in Euphoria, I'm like, whatever he does, I'm in.
Nice.
And I
Yeah.
do like his actors on actors with Kieran Culkin.
Yes, it is so good.
He is so like flummoxed by Kieran Culkin's just,
They have that conversation where
Yeah.
he asks Kieran Culkin, "What time do you wake up?"
yeah. He's like, I don't. He's
And,
like,
he-
what do you
and he's
mean?
like, "What do you mean you don't wake up?" He's like, "I'm up at like 5 a.m."
Yeah, and I turn the shower on, listen to some jazz.
And Kieran Culkin is also flummoxed because
Yeah.
he's like, "What is that life
Yeah.
like?"
It's like my call time's he's like, so your call time's at 5, you're waking up. He's like 5:15. He's like, what? Like, so you're late to set. It's
we
really
we
cute.
loved Succession. I think it's a great show.
It's a
I
brilliant
would
show.
be shocked if this is like the type of cast that gets together for reunions, because I just don't think
Brian
that
Cox isn't
Brian
showing up.
Cox would have any
He's too
sort of
busy doing
fucking
McDonald's
patience
commercials.
for anyone. And I love him for that. And he's also a great dresser. I didn't see him at the Golden Globe, but
I don't think he was
awards, but he was a fantastic.
there.
is
You
a
can say
fantastic-
Golden
No,
Globes,
I'm
but
catching
it's not the
myself.
Golden Globes
No, no,
award.
News Braunfels. I'm catching myself. I'm not adding an extra S that doesn't
Buddha?
need to be there.
Buddha.
Another outfit that I did love, we already kind of mentioned, Anna Sawai and Dior, just
Killed it.
stunning.
She's great in
It
Dior.
was simple, but also
And isn't she still the brand
detail.
ambassador for Cartier?
Oh, I don't
is
know.
I think
What
after
was her necklace?
yeah,
maybe it's Cartier.
I
yeah,
think it was Cartier.
It was perfect.
It was after the Oscars that she got announced that she was the new brand ambassador.
well, the Oscars and
for-
the Emmys.
or the Emmys.
That's what
it's
she
the
won,
Emmys.
yeah.
It was the Emmys. Yeah,
Did
I
I
think.
write it down?
I think so.
Nah, she was everything
She
fit for
look-
her.
Of course,
Yeah.
she is impeccable. She's got style. She's got grace. She's got poise.
Mhm.
She reminds me very much of like Audrey Hepburn, in her
Oh.
energy and how
just that like
she holds
elegance,
herself. Yes.
And very
she's, like,
light.
oozing
Like
off
she
of
just,
her.
yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Does
I dig her energy and her vibe.
I can't wait to see what she does next. I mean, Shogun, as we kind of talked about on that episode, has a season 2 coming, but I don't know if
What
it's
they're
going to
going to do
be
with
in
it, we don't
it.
know. I hope they do a backstory where
I hope they
bring
do
her back.
flashbacks. But
That'd be
anyway,
fantastic.
I also really loved, and I think
Yeah.
this is controversial, Cynthia Erivo's Louis Vuitton
It's beautiful.
sculpted. She's on a lot of worst dress lists.
Sure.
She's
Well,
on my worst dress list.
I loved it.
And I think the reason why is because she looks stunning during the entire press run for
Mhm.
Wicked.
Some of her looks were beyond,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Just incredible. And then she comes to the Golden Globes, the first awards for this film, and she's wearing grandmother's drapes and panniers.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Also, how do you sit in that? Someone explain to me.
It's a question. Well, it looked like they only went out on the sides, so I guess she could sit back in a chair.
So
But
what-
she,
maybe
she had
that's
to have
why it
space.
was just
no, I
this
think it was
way.
just out, and there was
they
a
were holding
skirt.
space.
But I think that they could
She was holding
have.
space.
I like the pattern. I think it's flattering on the dress is flattering on her. It looks.
Oh, I loved it.
I don't know.
I
A bit
do wish it was
performative.
green. I'm like, keep the wicked presser going.
Yeah.
Now
Make
that
it
would have been
green.
great.
I was kind of
Yeah.
disappointed, but with both of them, honestly, because
Oh,
both of them look great during all of the junkets.
I don't know what
but,
happened.
Like, what happened here that, she's wearing something that was a cast off of Bridgerton, and she's wearing something from,
Good point.
Queen Charlotte. Like, what happened?
I mean, Ariana Grande is on my worst dressed. It was archival Givenchy, and it did not fit her. That dress wore her. The color, I know they're trying to nod to Glinda's One Short Day yellow outfit is what I read.
Oh, okay.
And because in the musical, Glinda's wearing a yellow outfit. In the movie, she's wearing like the pink thing. It didn't fit her. It was way too long. It washed her out. It
Yes.
did not.
Nothing popped on that one. For
And
me.
I'm with you. They look so good. And she's worn yellow on the Wicked presser, but it was more like a bright yellow.
Yes.
This like butter creamish yellow. No.
She's like so pale, and her
Yeah.
hair is very blonde right now. It just all kind of,
Washed her
blah.
out.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
were some of your favorites, Mavish?
Oh, well, Demi Moore.
Demi.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore was wearing Armani Privé,
She looks so good.
and she looked stunning. Like that, it fit her perfectly. It gave her silhouette just the structure of the top of that dress.
Yeah.
And she just looks stunning.
She did.
She looks great. She's
Her
in the best
hair.
shape of her life, I think.
She wasn't wearing a ton of jewels,
Yeah.
but she was
looked great.
She looked beautiful. She was at the top of my. I saw her and I kept looking at her.
You couldn't stop
looking at her. Yep.
Yeah. I haven't watched The Substance. I want to. A lot of people have been recommending The Substance
I'm
to
on
me.
the fence. Our favorite Kolache Shop employees today
yes.
were like, "Hey, have you watched The Substance? Are y'all
Yeah.
gonna watch it?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, I really don't want to watch it, but
I know.
perhaps I do. The way that it is shot, I understand it to be very kind of like in your face.
Yes.
From the perspective of the camera angle, and some of that just gives me the willies.
Gives me anxiety.
So
Bad. Yeah.
I'll watch it, but I'll probably wait till it's streaming.
I think it is.
Isn't it streaming?
Yeah, it's on
is that
Amazon
cool?
Prime, I think.
Sweet. Well, I guess I'm watching it sooner than later.
She looked really good. But I think we have to call out the glowy elephant in the room.
The hat, the bucket hat. We already did.
No, the highlighter.
The highlighter.
Okay, it
Why?
was bad. Not everyone.
There were a few.
There
but
were some fellas and even a couple of gals that were like, "No,
It was like
don't touch me with
75%.
that."
It was wild. Every
And the
time-
camera angles, they were terrible.
I do love Seth Rogen calling out. He's like, "Whoa, this camera," whatever he says.
Straight to it.
Yeah, but
Those
I
two
mean,
together are great.
everybody, and I know highlighter is very popular right now. I mean, as you mentioned, Bridgerton. Golly, maybe it was the same makeup team, like
Maybe.
you said, because everyone came out aglow.
They
It
did,
was distracting.
but the rest of the set in the room were very dark.
it was
and
so
gray.
weird.
I'm like, what's going on here?
The
This is supposed to be
production-
elegant and star forward, and it just seemed like a funeral.
It was weird, and
With funeral makeup.
the music was too loud sometimes, so you could not hear what the announcer was saying about the presenters.
Yep, was
The production
It was
value was bad, and with all due respect to the people that put in a lot of time, energy, and effort on this production, on any production, this one just seemed to not be running smoothly from the perspective of the viewer at home.
And we can empathize
We can
as
empathize.
people who
We're-
produce our own podcast, but it was just distracting. The highlighter, the sound, the camera angles, and then look, I know you can't plan for everything, but because it wasn't just a camera on pointed straight on a stage. It was like the stage people would walk out, and sometimes people would be over here. I didn't like that people's backs would be to the audience sometimes.
No.
yeah. I
Like-
don't think they liked it either.
No, it was weird. And then you could see, depending on where the presenters were, you could see people coming back to their seats and being escorted. It just didn't
I
have
think
the
that's very Golden Globes. That happens because they get up and go to the restroom all the time. And so, who was it? Renee Zellweger that actually missed her Golden
Was that
Globes
the Golden Globes?
or the Oscars? I can't remember. But
One of them,
she'd
wasn't
gone to
there.
the
She had
bathroom
gone
when
to
they
the
called her
bathroom.
name.
Mhm.
which
Which is
That's fine.
Hey, I get it. You know,
Feel
we're
it
human.
happens.
You gotta go to the bathroom.
But I mean, there's this one shot where Ariana Grande is coming back to her seat and she's just like, they're like trying to get her to her seat and it's distracting.
Oh, there was that when they're like they were hunkering
crouching down.
Oh,
yeah.
it was Brandy Carlisle and maybe Ariana
her
Grande,
too.
and they were like kind of
was-
trying to get out of the
yeah.
camera angle, but weren't. Yeah,
I don't
think
know.
because it's like so casual that like people will
Yeah.
get up to go talk to other people at different
I love
tables,
that.
Love
yeah.
that.
which is lovely, right? Because I saw something where a group of those actresses that were nominated, they got together to do a roundtable,
Yeah.
and they were talking about how they don't have that
Yeah.
that like community where
love
they
that
can
round
sit
table with
and-
Demi and
Angelina Jolie was
Angelina
there.
Jolie and Zendaya
Yes.
and Tinda.
Zoe Saldana was there, and they were just talking about how great it was that they actually got to like talk to each other and how some of them have never met, and so I get
I
why
love
they're
that.
getting up
Yeah.
and talking, but
Yeah.
it creates distraction.
It
There was
does.
that time when they didn't even announce one of the nominees during the right, or they like cut it
Yes.
off or something.
It was, and they showed Harrison Ford's face when they were like naming another actor. It was just
Yeah.
like weird glitches.
It's always a wild ride. The Golden Globes is a rodeo.
yeah.
I don't know. I like the Golden Globes more than the Oscars for so many reasons, but this year I wasn't feeling it
nope.
at all.
I do love it for its more casualness,
Yes.
and
Yes,
they
more
don't take
candid.
each other
So
Yes.
seriously.
so serious.
it,
Like by
yeah.
the time you get to the Oscars and they've gone through this
A lot
gamut
of times it's a
awards,
love fest at the Golden Globes. It's
Yeah.
just like actors being themselves
People in
around
bucket
other
hats.
actors. They're in their
they can
element.
leave the bucket hat.
But
out.
something about this
They
year
should.
just felt very performative and very off. And
Dare you
and,
say unhinged?
unhinged for sure, which
Yes.
is why we're talking about it. But I don't know, maybe that's something about all of the content that was produced this year that just seems a little bit different than we've seen in the years past. I noticed there was one moment where it was Meryl Streep, Harrison Ford, and like a whole crew of what's Ted Danson's wife,
Mary
Mary
Steenburgen, and others that were all standing together, posed for a picture. But they weren't at the front of the room. Most of them were kind of seated to the back. The people in the front of the room were kind of the Gen Zers and The Rock. Okay, can we talk about The Rock?
Why was The Rock front? Who
Why?
he paid for that? He absolutely paid for that.
Why was he front and
Why?
center?
He didn't present.
I
He
asked
wasn't
Jen, I'm like, what has he
nominated.
been in?
And who had the forethought of calling Vin Diesel and asking him to present
was
an award?
Fucking
That-
knowing
hysterical.
that The
That
Rock
was
was
actually
going to be
great.
there.
I'm so glad he
No,
did that.
I was there for it. I don't know what
I
the
loved
beef
it.
is
Just
between
the,
the two of them.
Hey, Dwayne.
Yeah. I'm glad it wasn't another Chris Rock moment where, you had someone stand
Oh,
up
I
and
probably would have been. I
getting
mean,
into it. Although that could have been something, a tussle between The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Oh my, that would have been WWE.
that
right
would have been
there.
bad. What if he
Rips
came up?
his
You
shirt.
want to smell what The Rock is cooking? Is that what he
Takes
used
the
to
folding
say?
chair.
That's
Yes.
right.
Is that what-
I think so.
Yes.
Like, what? We could have had that. That could have livened it up.
It really could have.
We also did learn that The Rock starred as Hercules in a movie at some point, which that was
That was
unhinged.
completely off our radar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed watching it with you guys.
I did too.
I was super excited. Shogun won and Hacks. And, I mean,
no
we'll
doubt
see
Hacks
how
won.
the rest of the award season goes, but what a way to start
What
it off.
A kickoff.
Okay.
Well-
Mavish,
Yes.
any other comments on the Golden Globes? Something that we maybe missed?
Yeah. So, the one thing that I was thinking about this morning as I was getting ready to come here was my two data points for this, which I really love to see it, was Colin Farrell won, right?
I
Oh,
forgot
yeah,
about
the penguin.
Colin. And he
But-
said turkey.
And he said, yeah.
that just really gives me.
Chin quivered.
Colin Farrell won and
Yeah.
John M. Chu both won.
Yes.
Yeah.
In their acceptance speeches, both of them pointed out these unsung heroes
Yeah.
that
Crafty services.
craft services,
Yes.
the people who design the sets.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this because I know that like at the Emmys, they have technical awards, and Oscars, they give a lot of awards for set design and cinematography and all these other things.
And costumes.
And costuming and all these other people that create
Mhm.
the films and the media that we watch,
Yeah.
but don't necessarily get awards for. And I loved that
Yeah.
Colin
I am
Farrell
too.
and John M. Chu both got up there and thanked craft services.
Sure.
Listen.
He made some really good points, which is these people show up before the sun comes up and they go home after the sun comes down and they get paid shit.
Yep.
And they keep, like he said, he called out one lady by name,
Yeah.
right? He's like, you
Yes.
always had the like,
But they always know what you want. They're always there with a smile. Anytime that
Yeah.
we've been on set doing background work, craft services is where it's at.
they really
they
are.
don't, they're not like, oh, well, you're not a principal, so you don't get the corn nuts. I mean, it is like equal opportunity craft services.
Point of order.
But, the people who work on productions of these films are the ones who really make the film.
Yeah.
But you always have to remember the people who are behind the scenes, who are setting the scenes up for these actors to be the best that they can be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's everyone from assistant directors down to craft services and down to the guy running the shuttle of background extras from the parking lot at 6 a.m. back to the studio later in the day.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so I love, as you pointed out, both of these individuals pointing out the unsung heroes
Loved it.
of movies and film.
I hope we see more of it. Oh, and the other thing that really kind of stuck in my craw was they did not show Viola Davis getting her Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Okay,
And
it
they
used to
did it
be
in
the
such-
biggest award.
Yes,
right?
and they did it in a confusing way. We're like, wait, did she already get it? Is she getting it now? What's
Yeah.
happening? She deserves it.
She
So to save
deserves it.
time, what they've done is they've cut some of these awards to the lunch, like the day before or
Oh,
whatever it
yeah.
is.
Cool.
I mean, the Cecil B. DeMille Award is the largest honorary award that the Golden Globes has. It used to be in the center of the show.
Yep.
It was like the grand dame of the awards.
Exactly.
And I
This-
love
And don't you
Viola
want to do that
Davis.
on a national audience?
Yeah, not
know?
at some lunch hour where she showed up in her
Right. Here's a bouquet of
sundress.
flowers and enjoy
Good
the dried
job.
chicken and
It's
we're out of
always
here.
dried chicken.
I want to
Pose
see
for
a
the picture.
retrospective of
I do
Viola
too.
Davis and
Yeah, we
all
know we
the
missed
work
all of
that
that.
she's done over
Yeah.
30, 40 years.
So
It's
boo
really
Golden
sad.
Globes.
Boo.
Boo.
Well,
Okay.
we aren't going to do an unhinged of the week because we just talked about it. The Golden Globes. Lots of unhinged moments.
Yeah.
I guess you could say me and my bucket hat was the unhinged
That was
moment
unhinged.
of the episode. Yeah,
Bucket hats are
Mavish.
coming back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we do know how your husband feels about a bucket hat.
Lots
He's-
full of
Do
them.
we?
Yeah,
How does
Rob
he feel
loves a
about it?
bucket.
Loves a bucket
Does he?
hat.
Well,
Commissioner
that checks.
likes a bucket hat.
that checks.
And I love that for him.
I do too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Mavish, for coming on into our studio, our first live guest.
Our first guest.
Yay.
I love it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
this is great.
Yeah.
For more unhinged content and to follow these episodes, please check us out. We are at Once More Podcast on
Mhm.
TikTok, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and Spotify.
We sure are.
Unhinged is produced by us. I'm Ryan Something,
And I'm Jen Katz.
and our special guest.
Mavish Door.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Oh, wait. Should we do like, where can people find you?
Because
Yes.
you also make really good book recommendations.
You
I-
do.
I do, and I have been remiss. I haven't been really updating it much lately. I will try to get back into that this year.
You
That's
should.
Great.
for
Yeah.
2025.
You
Yay.
have some cool followers.
I'm at Tasty Reads.
At
Tasty
Tasty
Reads.
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 At tasty.reads.
We will
on
link that
Instagram.
in our episode.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. All right. Bye.
Bye.